Have you ever been in one of those meetings that just feels like an argument going nowhere fast? You know, a chaotic brainstorm where great ideas get totally lost in the noise? Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful tool that's designed to fix exactly that. It can transform those messy meetings into absolute engines of systematic innovation.
Here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll get into why our thinking gets so trapped in the first place. Then, we'll explore the solution, a really simple but powerful shift to what's called parallel thinking. After that, we're going to break down the 6 Hats toolkit itself piece by piece. Then we'll cover how you can actually run a session. And finally, we'll look at the incredible payoff this has for building a real culture of innovation.
So let's start with the core problem, right? The way that most of us are taught to think is, believe it or not, actually holding us back, especially when we're trying to create something brand new.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? It's what the creator of this whole method, Edward de Bono, calls the spaghetti mind. Just think about it. We're trying to deal with logic, emotion, creativity, and hard data all at the same time. And what do? You get a tangled mess where all these different ways of thinking are just clashing with each other instead of working together.
You know, to really get why we think this way, we have to go way back. Our default mode is adversarial. It's a system built for argument by the ancient Greeks. And look, this Socratic method is fantastic for analysis, for finding the flaws in something, but when your goal is to design a new way forward, it's the wrong tool for the job.
And this slide really shows the fundamental shift. Adversarial thinking, that's me versus you. It pits us against each other in this battle of egos. But parallel thinking, that gets everyone on the same side, looking at the problem together. The whole focus changes from who is right to what is possible. It's a total game changer.
So this brings us right to the solution, this powerful, elegant shift to parallel thinking. The idea itself is incredibly simple, but I promise you, its impact on collaboration and creativity is absolutely profound.
So what is it exactly? Well, parallel thinking is a deliberate process. This isn't just a casual chat. It's a structured exploration where the entire group focuses on one mode of thinking at a time. Together, everybody is literally looking in the same direction.
Here's a perfect way to make this really concrete. Just imagine 4 people arguing about a house. One is looking at the front, one at the back, one on each side. Now, they're all technically right about what they see, but they can't agree on what the house looks like. But with parallel thinking, they all decide to walk around the house together, side by side. First, they all look at the north side, then the west, then the south, then the east. And now everyone has a complete 360-degree shared view. No more arguments.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do parallel thinking? Well, we use a toolkit, these 6 thinking hats. Each colored hat is a symbol for a specific mode of thinking, and it gives us a really simple, tangible way to direct our focus.
This right here, this is your master key. Think of it like the 6 different channels your brain can tune into. You've got the white hat for just the facts, the red hat for feelings, the black hat for caution, yellow for benefits, green for wild creativity, and the blue hat for managing the whole process.
Okay, so when we put on the white hat, we become like a computer. We are only, and I mean only, concerned with objective facts and figures. The questions are simple. What do we know for sure, and what information are we missing? There is absolutely no room for interpretation or opinion here, just the data.
The red hat is so powerful because it gives everyone official permission to share emotions and gut feelings. And the key part is you don't have to explain why you feel a certain way. This is huge because it validates that intuitive human side of decision-making that usually gets ignored or buried.
Now let's be clear about the black hat. It is not about being negative for the sake of it. It's about being cautious. Think of it as our survival instinct, scanning the horizon for dangers, for risks, for potential flaws. This is the critical thinking that saves us from groupthink and keeps us from making really big mistakes.
And on the flip side, you have the yellow hat. It's the optimistic counterpoint. It is a disciplined, deliberate search for value and for benefits. But unlike just wishful thinking, yellow hat thinking requires logical support. It's all about asking, what are the good points here? And, okay, how can we make this work?
The green hat. This is the hat of fertile growth, where the magic happens. Under the green hat, we suspend all judgment and focus completely on generating new ideas and possibilities. No ideas too wild, no concept too out there. This is where we move beyond what already exists and really explore what could be. And finally, we have the blue hat, which is the one that manages all the others. Think of it as the conductor of the orchestra, or maybe the sky that holds all the weather. The blue hat sets the agenda. It keeps everyone on track, and it summarizes the thinking at the end. It's basically thinking about the thinking. All right, so we get the theory, we know what all the hats do, but how does this actually work in practice? Let's get into how to structure and run a 6-hat session to get the maximum impact. You know, the real power of this tool is its flexibility. You don't just use the hats randomly. You create specific recipes or programs depending on your goal. So, are you trying to generate some initial ideas for a new product? You might just need the white and green hats. But are you tackling a complex strategic plan? Well, then you'll probably use a much more comprehensive sequence to evaluate all the different angles.
Now, for this to really work, there are a few simple but totally non-negotiable rules. First, you always start and end with the blue hat. That frames the session and wraps it up. Second, everyone thinks in parallel, meaning you are all wearing the same hat at the same time. And maybe the most important rule of all, you have to separate your ego from your contribution. You're not defending an idea, you are simply playing a role.
Okay, so when you put all of this together, the results you get are so much more than just better meetings. This method can fundamentally change an organization's entire ability to innovate.
Just consider the sheer efficiency gain. Let's talk numbers. Some organizations that use this method have reported reducing their meeting times by as much as 75%. That's not just an improvement, that is a complete transformation of how work gets done.
And that really points to a much deeper cultural shift. When someone uses the black hat, they're not attacking you, they are performing a required task for the good of the group. That builds huge psychological safety. It saves time, it saves money, and best of all, it turns innovation from some mysterious eureka moment into a deliberate, repeatable process that anyone can be a part of.
This quote, it really gets to the absolute heart of it. By asking everyone to play a role, the 6 hats method very cleverly takes ego right out of the equation. We stop defending our own little piece of territory and we start exploring the entire landscape together.
So I'll leave you with this question. The 6 thinking hats argues that innovation isn't some kind of magic. It's a skill. It's a process that can be learned, that can be practiced, and can be mastered. And it can turn any team into an absolute powerhouse of creativity and really effective decision-making.